Friday night. No, it's not Friday night. I'm talking about it's Thursday night. Thursday, the 1st of May. I see that for the moment there's nobody on the channel. Doesn't matter because I'm recording this for people that watch later, and I hope that that's something that is interesting to you. As I was waiting for people to come, I'll talk a little bit about my day. It's been quite a rich and complex day. This morning we had a group meeting for the practice, which is always interesting. We have technical things to sort out. We have new patients to look at to see if we're going to take them on. We look at our demands. And we decide who's going to take whom, if we're going to leave some patients to wait for another week, or if we're going to just say no, that you don't fit into the type of work that we do. We are a transcultural clinic. We do transcultural psychotherapy. So generally, we only deal with foreigners and non-Swiss. Of course, if I have or someone has someone that's Swiss that specifically would want to be followed by one of the psychologists or the psychiatrist or the psychiatrist medical assistant, we'll take that into account. But generally, we try and take foreigners because I'm English speaking. I try to take English speaking students, Americans, Australians, English people, people maybe from Norway, Finland, and other countries that speak good English. But of course, I take also French-speaking people from all over the world. That's just the way that it works. That's the way it functions. Hello, good evening. See that somebody has arrived. So we had a morning meeting. After that was followed by an internal training. The doctor, the medical assistant, he gave a training on a very interesting subject, which I'll talk about on Saturday. If you're with me Saturday, Saturday it's at 4:00 this time. Very interesting subject, which I hope to be able to express and explain. But unfortunately, I'm going to be driving. So I have no idea how it's going to work. I hope I will not have an accident. I hope I can attach some sort of object that I can record with. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. It's going to be quite the challenge for me to find a way to attach something to record with. I don't have anything specific for that or professional. We'll see how it goes, but it's a very interesting subject about communication, about the spoken word. So that's it's very, very important how people say things about themselves or to other people. So that's that for Saturday. And then this afternoon, I had one or two patients here. I had a networking meeting for a new patient in a home where he's staying at the moment. It was interesting because I get out of my office. I'm back in my office now, you can guess. And then I'd forgotten the patient afterwards. So I got back, he phoned me up and said, "Are you coming back, Mr. Gedor?" I said, "Oh, yes, I forgot." And so he fell asleep for a while, and then I woke him up, and then we had our session. Unfortunately, that meant that I didn't have the time that I had planned to go to the gym between my sessions and my recordings. I will see if I have the energy, I hope so, after I finished with you, to go to the gym and do at least a half an hour, just so that I continue my daily discipline, because that's important. It's part of what I see as part of the way that I function, and it is a habit that I have acquired because of the last 70 days, and because I have this habit, even at 9:15 at night. The idea to go to the fitness for half an hour seems absolutely reasonable. The only thing that's not reasonable, I'm supposed to be phoning my friend Kevin sometime this evening, because it's Thursday night and we're supposed to chat. It's great to chat with him He's my best friend. I would say he's my only real friend. And I don't know how I'm going to work with that, but we'll see. But and then I'll go home, and what I'm going to eat tonight, just in case anybody's interested in what I'm going to eat tonight, is I'm going to have some celery and some green cheese and some hummus as my main meal. I'm eating. This is if you watched last night, you'll know that I follow a system called the first F is fasting. I fasted basically all day Monday, all day Tuesday, and just till yesterday evening. I had some vegetable soup with a tin of peas in it. I love peas. And that's about it for yesterday. Today I've had a milky coffee and an energy bar just before, just to give myself a little bit of perk to speak to you and to be available. Anyway, so this evening I want to talk to you about a very important subject of who am I? So whoever we are, we're not satisfied with who we are because we wouldn't be doing the 70-day challenge if we were. So doing this 70-day challenge is to change our self-image. It may be just a bit to improve it, to become as perfect as we can be, or it might be because we don't feel very good about ourselves. And to do this 70-day challenge will help us feel better about who we are and how we function. Now, something very important, is our self-image is built basically in our childhood, and it's built in our childhood due to the way that other people have treated us when we were children. And so the image that the close people have projected on us create the person that we see ourselves as, and the way that we function, and the way that we draw people towards ourselves, and as I said, the way that they treat us. So it's really, really important that we think about our self-image, and the 70-day challenge is a very, very important way to question ourselves, who we are, what we can do, and I trust that you will be able to improve the person you are, and that's going to get much better. So that's the way that we're functioning. That's what we're up to. So the way that we are seen as children, I use myself as an example because I love talking about myself, and the way that my parents saw me was a bit of a lovable buffoon, somebody that they could actually make fun of and would respond as it's okay, it's a joke. For instance, they would send me shopping to the local shops, not miles and miles away. I'm talking about when I was about 5, 6 years old. They'd send me shopping. It was okay to walk alone in the area. It was something I was doing since I was like 4.5. So it was a safe place. It wasn't dangerous. They'd send me shopping. And they'd send me to the supermarket and the butchers and the bakery. And they would tell me what they wanted me to buy. And then they would guess what I'd come back with, because I'd never come back with whatever it is they asked me to buy. And that was a joke. That was funny. That was humorous. And I constantly joined in that. And that image of maybe intelligent, maybe not intelligent, but fun and nice and helpful was the image that they gave me, which I totally integrated. Now, fortunately, at 9, I went to a boarding school, and the director of the boarding school treated me differently. He treated me with respect. He treated everyone with respect. There was something incredibly wonderful about him. He would treat street cleaners with respect. He would treat servers, servers in English, I can't remember, the serving staff with respect. He would treat cleaners with respect. He would treat everyone with respect. And he treated the children with respect. And that was very, very important for me. And although I played a lot in plays at school, and I was allowed to express the crazy part of myself with roles that became, throughout the years, I was there for 6 years, more and more important roles. But that sort of like expressive side of myself was valued, but not made fun of. And that was helped me an awful lot later on in life. But as soon as I left the boarding school when I was 15, and I went to a middle school, And I had no idea how to deal with things. So what did I do? I went back to being the fool. And I created a persona, which was called Abdul, Abdul Executive Nuisance and Pest, really a buffoon. And throughout that year, that was how I was known. And what happened? I went to what we call in England the sixth form, and which I think in America is college, but I'm not totally clear. And in the sixth form, because there were some people from the fifth form that came with me, I just carried on being Abdul and doing really strange and interesting and amusing things, playing in the theatre and being an interesting person for the school. And when I left the sixth form, I took a year off, so I didn't go straight to university after that. When I got to university, I thought, oh, I'll be serious, I'll be reasonable, I won't do this Abdul thing. And I lasted 24 hours. Within 24 hours of arriving, the self-image of being a fool as a protection, as a way of functioning, took over. And I was known as Abdul during 4 years at university. And most of the other students had no idea what my real name was. So this is how it functions. And it's taking me 50 some years to be able to find a balance between the image people give to me, my self image, and the way that I function and the way I attract other people's um, attention. And for you, this 20-day challenge, 70-day challenge, 70-day challenge is so important because we want to challenge also your self-image, how you see yourself, who you are, and how you function. And yes, I'm speaking about myself, but it applies to other people. For instance, I had a patient who was a very high-powered woman, was very functional, was a bit having a burnout, came to me because she was dysfunctioning and had a very hard time at work, etc., etc. And we worked for a period of time. And then when she started to feel better, the first reaction was, I feel better now, I'm going to divorce my husband. And I thought, that's good work that I've done. I said, why do you want to divorce your husband? I mean, maybe we could do something about it. She said, well, I've got two young children and I've got three kids in the house. And I said, how is that? He said, my husband is just a big kid. He's irresponsible. He doesn't treat money well. He doesn't have any idea of timing and appointments. He doesn't accept any criticism. He's just a total baby. He's totally useless. He's not at all helpful. And I'm bored of having another kid in the house. So I said, well, look, at least let me meet the guy and let me see if it's possible that I could do something to help him become, less immature. So I met him and I dug a bit into his story, and it seems that he's always been treated as the incompetent child, especially in his family of origin. He was treated like that. So that was the image given to him, always treated like that, constantly, even up until then. And that's the way he saw himself, as not being able to be competent to deal with stuff at home. This is what's interesting. And then I asked him how he met his wife. He said that he was at a party, he was very drunk, and he was about to fall in a swimming pool. And she saved him from falling in the swimming pool. So she was a savior. And there was some sort of savior, protector, excitement in her. And she took him on as an incompetent, as an incapable, as someone that she could look after and she could save, which functioned very well for a while within the couple. But over the years, she had two kids and she had this stressful job and she just couldn't cope any longer with looking after him. However, this is very interesting. When I started to dig a bit deeper into his story, it seems that he had a job as an engineer. Now, to my thinking, an engineer is someone that repairs motors and engines and things like that. So I said, and how does it work as an engineer? He said, well, I look after projects. I thought that's already not quite an engineer. So I asked him how he looked after projects. He says, I'm in a project management enterprise, and I deal with projects. For I said, well, I did small projects, but a large project. She says, well, I don't know, maybe medium projects. I said, okay, medium projects. I mean, about how much money is involved? She says, one, two, maybe sometimes three. I said, three, what, 100,000? He says, no, million, $1 million, million francs, which is about the same as $1 million. So he's dealing with projects of millions of dollars, millions of francs, and he called himself an engineer. So I said, well, yeah, we're dealing with, but who gives you these jobs? He says, sometimes my boss, and sometimes people come directly to me because they're used to me doing this. So used to him doing that already. He's got a certain history, a certain name professionally. And I said, well, you must have a lot of people that work with you. You must have an agenda. He says, no, I don't have an agenda. I thought, uh-oh, what's going on here? I said, well, how do you function with all these people and all these timelines? He says, I have a wall. He says, I have a long wall, which we have all the people and all the jobs and all the timelines. This is the guy that can't keep an agenda. This is the guy that doesn't know how to keep an appointment. And I said, well, and how does it deal? How do you deal with the clients? He says, well, we work for a week or 2 weeks, and then we show the client what we've done. And I thought, well, you can't always get it totally right. So how do you deal when the client's not satisfied? He says, either we change what we've done, or if we doesn't like it, we throw it in the dustbin. This is someone that can't cope with any criticism. So I come to see that the image, self-image that he has in the private family situation, it's totally damaged. He's totally infantile because he's not had the permission to be mature and responsible. But he has found through his education and through his work, this is not something so rare, I've seen it quite a few times, he's allowed to be the mature, competent person that he is. And so what we did, we worked on taking his competencies from work and channeling into his private life. And what is the worst thing about this image, self-image, is that we recreate every relationship as we see ourselves. And what happened was that his kids were starting to treat him like rubbish. They didn't respect him, they didn't listen to him, they didn't follow him at all because he was just a kid. The way that their mother treated him, it wasn't supposed to be respected. So they didn't respect him either. And so that's what also happens with our images and our self-images, is that reinforce the situation. When I went to university and I called myself Abdul, you don't think that people took me very seriously. I was okay in class. I was okay in my studies because I wrote Carriero on all my exams and the things that I did, the things I gave in. So the teachers more or less treated me as any other student, but everyone else treated me as an idiot. Even at one point, I advanced myself to be the stage manager for something called the Birmingham New Age, the Birmingham New Theatre Festival, or something like that. I was at Aston University in Birmingham at the time, and the director of I think the theatre said it was okay for me to do, but the director of the centre was okay with doing it, but the director of the theatre had very, very great questions of whether I was reasonable to take over. Well, basically, I was the stage manager for 3 productions, 3 plays, and I had to do what they call calling the play, which means I had to follow the script as it went by. For every sound effect, light effect, or special effect, I had to be the one to call it. I would say, we're coming up to light effect 27, be aware, blah, 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 on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. You know, it's a very responsible thing. It was like for a couple of hours every night, so it was quite long. And the theatre manager just wasn't sure that this idiot, Abdul, was capable of doing it. So I had to convince him that I could also be serious and reasonable. So, you know, and the kids that were treating their father as another child, as a competent child, that was because in his image of himself, and the image that he projected out, He was an immature incompetent. So we worked on, I say, linking his competence at work and giving him permission to be a responsible adult at home. And one day I received a phone call, and the phone call said, "Mr. Getto, are you available for 5 minutes? It's very important I speak to you for 5 minutes." I said, "Sure. What is it?" And he said, "I just wanted you to know that today my wife forgot an appointment." And I reminded her, and there we go. And he said, "Okay, we finished now, and thank you and goodbye." I'm just having a look at this these chats. I was wondering if there's any chats that are actually appearing. And I don't know if you could just say something like "Hi, I'm here," just so I can see if the chats are actually working. Because at the moment I don't see anything at all, and I'm very concerned that this does not work at all. But we shall see. So he was able to change his self-image, and through that he was able to work on changing the image that other people had of him. And I was having working through that. And it's so important that we notice our self-image, even if we're not conscious of it, we're not aware of it, the way that people treat us. It's very important. It really shows uh, how they see us, what we project. I often have patients that attract the most awful partners or the most awful quotes friends or have the most awful situation at work because they are projecting an image that these people are picking up on. And you can have the image. I mean, I have for one or two patients I have had anyway that have been in Switzerland without papers, illegally, and look for work on the black, so it's not legal, and they get totally abused. And they find people that are just not just abusive financially, not giving them much money. Because after all, if someone is working on the black, you're not paying taxes, you're not paying social insurances. I mean, you're already benefiting from at least 20% of what you pay them that you don't pay to the government. And then they pay them a pittance. But not only. I had a patient, I remember, I worked for a whole week. At the end of the week, the person she was working for said, "Oh, you've stolen a watch." So you have stolen a watch. Why would I steal a watch? I want to work for you. I want to keep working for you. I was like, "Oh no, you stole a watch. I'm not going to pay you for the week." So not only did she get promised not much money, at the end of the day, she was given nothing because the person decided that she was going to lose this watch and blame the patient. You get people that are women that get abusive partners, usually women. Some men also get it. It's not just women, but it's often women that have come from an abusive family where maybe the mother has been by the father. It could be the other way around, of course. And they are used to being abused. Maybe in adolescence they get sexually abused. And for the reasons that are very, very, very mysterious, they continue to get abused. They continue to be abused by people for no good reason. They just seem to be constantly abused. And it's because why? Because somewhere inside them, there is an image of someone that's ready to be abused. You get people that, again, come from an abusive family, and they will attract either people that will abuse them or people they can abuse. And it's just natural. It's unconscious. It just happens. And it's very important that we try and see the image that we have, who we are, how we function, how we dysfunction. And this 70-day challenge is the first steps. It's the first steps because you hopefully have seen one element, one thing in your life that you want to change, that you want to improve. If you, as I say, you want to reduce cigarettes, your alcohol, your drugs, your medication, how often you go the social networks, um, how often you watch porn sites, if you go on gambling sites, or if you gamble, um, if you're easily distracted. There's so many different facets of who we are, which are not positive. They're not positive, they're not functional. And at least that you have noticed, which is already great. It's really, really great. You've noticed that. Now, what's important though, you keep faith, you keep courage, you keep going, and you succeed, either completely or maybe just partially, because sometimes a partial success is about good enough, because maybe our first goal, our first aim, our first dream, when we actually come down to the end of the 70 days, was maybe a little bit too much, or maybe something else has occurred within the 70 days that's made it much, much less reasonable um, to to succeed at. So that's really important, that you get to the end of the 70 days and you get uh, a level of success. And as I said, a level of success that depends on the reality in which you're living. But hopefully you'll be satisfied, if only partially satisfied, with the advances that you've made. And thanks to those advances, that will improve your self-image. And as you improve your self-image, you start to give different messages. One of the instances that I give, a personal one, because I love talking about myself, as you might have noticed, is that we've had this joint practice for 15 years now. And quite soon after we started doing groups. And the first group I did was a group, strange enough, of theatre, with the patients and with a professional actor. And that was fine because there was a lot of interaction, but it was quite structured because of this actor that kept things a bit in order. It wasn't boring or anything, but somehow or other he kept it on some sort of more professional level. After that, he left in the second year, and for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, I was running groups alone. So I had groups. A lot of the people in the group were my patients, but there's also people that were not my patients in the group. And I had a much more relaxed attitude in the group. We all sat on the floor. We all tutoied, I pronounce it in English. That means that we use the intimate and the informal way of speaking to each other. And that meant that people were informal with me, and it was very clear for the French-speaking patients that I reduced the distance between me and them by accepting this informal way of speaking. And we would joke with each other. And then from time to time, there would be a patient that would cross the line, that would be impolite, that would be irrespectful, that wouldn't treat me the way I am, even though I was open to people laughing and joking and making a bit of funny of me, and I would make fun of them. If they got to the point where they crossed the line, and I would stop them dead. I'd say, no, that's too far. I don't accept that. You know, dial it back a bit. It's okay. And it worked. It worked that I had managed eventually, after, I don't know, 58 years, 56, 58 years, to find a balance between playing the fool and being the fool. So your image or self-image doesn't necessarily have to be wrong. If we had this guy that could be fun to be with his kids, he could be a bit infantile from time to time, to go into the level of being a child when you're with children, to play with children, to have fun with children. That's a gift, because a lot of adults don't know how to be children. They don't know how to go down to the level of children, have fun with children, play with children, play those games. Many adults are really stuck at the level of being an adult. So to be able, from time to time, play being a child and have an energy of a child, I think is an enormous gift. So this guy that had to fight so much to be treated as an adult and as a husband and as a parent, what he never lost, I checked afterwards, and he, with a little bit of continuation of that, he didn't lose the ability when he wanted to have a good time at parties, to be disinhibited, and to be a bit childlike with his kids. And therefore, you basically have what, the cake and eat it, or as they say in French, the butter and the money for the butter. So the idea is not to lose what is positive about who you are at the moment and how you function at the moment. What is important is to add another dimension, another level, and I'm hoping and trusting that as you go forward with this 70-day challenge, as you succeed day after day, week after week, month after month, how you control what you're doing, and you can see yourself going closer to your goal or goals, and you start to see yourself differently, and eventually that will change the way that people see you. Now, tomorrow is my Friday, is my day off. So that's not going to be a day when I'm available. I will be again online on Saturday. I hope I have more people because I'll make an effort to be on Saturday. Strangely enough, unfortunately, I'm going to be driving. So I have no idea how that's going to function. How I'm going to fix some sort of apparatus to record on, how I'm going to have a deal with my attention to not have an accident and yet still be present for you. It's going to be quite a challenge for me, but I'm looking forward to some very interesting things to share with you. So I will see you on Saturday, and if not on Saturday, then on Sunday evening. So keep with it, courage, force. I believe in you, and we will change your image and your self-image together. Bye for now.